Morning, everyone. As the introduction from Rachel, I am here with Primal Strength. I'll give a really brief introduction of me, then Primal, before we get into kind of 5 key points of what we would class as a successful gym design. So I've been in the industry for about 10 years, coming up on now. Been with a couple of other brands, Origin Fitness for 3 years, and since 2019 I've been the head of sales at Primal Strength. I also look after product design and a few other bits that I do at the company. A little bit, I toyed whether putting this slide in or not. I don't know how many people will know Primal. I'd hope that most do know Primal and what we're about. But we launched in 2016. We believe we're now the leading commercial strength company in the UK. Jumped up massively to over 15 million turnover. Our belief is simple. This is something I included because it's not really within gym design, but actually knowing your visions and values and what the company is about. And it's taken us almost 5 years to really hone in and nail what ours are. So we kept it really basic and simple to what we believe, that strength is in us all. We want to equip everybody to discover their true potential. That can be through any different means of training, and we've got a number of different facilities in here, I'm sure, that all work towards that goal. And we've got our values within internal and external. As we raise the bar, we spot each other and we keep pushing. That just a slight touch away from the gym design, but a really important part within your club. And like I say, it's taken us almost 5 years to be able to get to that point and knowing what we believe in. So a quick overview to what the 5 key points are. The first 2 is probably prior to actually designing the gym and putting kit in and looking at what the space is. And then the next 3 is more involved once the kit's in and how you actually design the facility to have flow and make sure that you've got the best member experience in there. Feel free, there might be a mic going around if Rob's giving it. You could ask questions in between, Rob will jump in, just give it a shout. I want it to be as kind of engaging and interactive as possible, rather than just me talking through and rambling on. So the first one is understand your market. This should be, before you open anything, before you start thinking about the kit that's involved in opening a business, is understanding who you're designing the gym for. What are you opening it for? What is your target market? What's their daily habits? What's their routines? What is their demographics? What's their age range? What does it look like? I think if you know that prior to opening, you're setting yourself on the right foot. And we've included one of the images there from one of the clubs we fit out locally in Glasgow called Sorella. It's a female-only club, all based around strength training, functional training, HIIT training, and it's 2 sisters that run it, and they've nailed that kind of 18 to 30-year-old female market, all about Instagram, all about kind of training, training your glutes, how to look good naked, and so much so that picture there is their 3rd studio they've opened called Project Peach. They know their market, they know the demographic they're looking after, and the Project Peach sold out within 2 days. They're charging £60 a session, and they've got 12 to 14 people in there. But because they know their market, they know who they're targeting, know what they're doing, it's just shot their business from kind of strength to strength. And that comes prior to putting the kit in. So understand the market, do your feasibility. Do you know how many people are in your local area? Do you know what the penetration is in your local area? That must be done prior to opening the gym before you think about how the gym looks. The next part which follows on, it links in probably quite close, is understand your offering. So you know your market, you know the demographic, you know the age range, you know what you're trying to target, but how do you create the offering that is actually suited to them? That's going to be paramount to the facility success. And when you're designing it, how do you sort the customer's problem? So what are they looking for? You know your demographic. If it is Sorella, again, 18 to 30, if they put in hundreds of treadmills in there and market that as how they're going to do it, it was never fitted to their business. Same as Fit 41, a space in Harpenden. We fitted out as a real high-intensity space. They've got a full group training area and a one-to-one PT area. They market that to their group, and they explain how that gives them results. They are result-driven training. So making sure you tailor your offering exactly to that market and market to them, how it's going to help them, that gives you your niche within the market. Sometimes I think a little bit we get caught up in facilities, which if you're opening a big broad-scale facility, it's not quite as easy, but if you're opening a niche set facility, you can't be everything to everyone. So when you're trying to market and you're pushing all this stuff out and you're saying your offering's so suited to everything and everyone out there, you get a little bit lost in the noise. So I think really knowing that offering, tailoring it to the market, what you're going for. A key one is functionality via aesthetics. I think now more than ever, and I've particularly put up that image there, that we are very push towards how the club looks. So it must be great for socials, it must be great for images, which we absolutely agree, but we can't ignore how does your club work functionally, how does it work operatively, is it designed with a flow that a member understands when they enter and how they get about the club, are they having to walk to the other end of the facility to get to changing rooms? You need to make sure that design element of that isn't just to make it look good, but it's very much designed functionally. Workout areas, making it clear and clean so they know where they're going to train, making the best use of your space. So in Scholes Gym there, it's slightly out of shot, but we designed an open class space that's just underneath, plus the actual strength training space, so if it was quieter on the strength floor, they can run classes. It's given a real mixture of that space. You need to be forward thinking and keep the space adaptable and make sure it works functionally, not just that it looks extremely appealing. So it's really important to keep that involved. Member experience and service. I think more than ever now, as well post-COVID, I think customer service and the member experience has probably got higher expectations. It's at the core of your brand. You should be going above and beyond to make sure that they receive the best service, they're satisfied, that you're following up with them, getting feedback at all points. And all part of that leads back into the design of facility as well. So it's not just all the touch points you have, but how are they experienced throughout the gym, people on the gym floor, creating clear journeys. You need to ensure that you have all those touch points. And we've put on there, probably our largest independent facility is Empowered Fit in Wirral. The guys, their customer service is absolutely second to none. Chris and Thea that run it, albeit they've got about 3,500 members, they make sure they're on the gym floor every night, they make sure they know all the feedback. If it's getting too busy at certain points, they take the feedback on board. And that's a 3,500 member club. I think that goes across. If you've got a group PT training, you've got anything, that member experience, is going to be key to the longevity of your business. If you keep your members happy, it's easier to retain your memberships than what it is to try and market and constantly bring in new members. So I think the bottom line, customer service is key to retention and generating as much revenue as possible. I feel like I've shot through this very quick, but we've got sometimes less is more. And again, I think that's a really common mistake that we see, certainly when people contact us for gym design. The first question they ask is, how much equipment can I fit within this space? And I think you need to reverse engineer that a little bit, and sometimes less is more. You don't want to create overcrowding, especially within modern training facilities if we've seen it change. You need to look at space saving, be quite cute with how you're designing the gym. And I think we would always recommend, doesn't matter which size facility, but we try and say to fit it out by about 80%, 85% and leave your room to be adaptable. Businesses change all the time, sort of 12 months in, 18 months in, so if you've kitted it out top to bottom with absolutely no space at all to manoeuvre or change what you're offering, you just need to leave yourself that little room to grow. And it's also, when you take member feedback, what bit of kit do you want to see, or what's the new thing that you want to put in, taking that feedback on, if you put that within the facility, your members will be absolutely blown away and delighted. They see that as you reinvesting and not just someone who's taking their membership money and got an amazing gym and drives a really nice car. Knowing your market will ultimately dictate that as well, because if you're trying to open a CrossFit box, you're chucking in 100 machines, it's not going to work. You need to know the market, so those first two steps definitely will lead into that, and that will dictate how many units of kit or what you should put in. That's went extremely quickly and a lot quicker than what I planned, Rob, but if there is any questions, shout out. I did want it to be a bit more interactive, but yeah, if you've got any questions at all.
Keep talking, Euan.
Move quicker, Rob.
Hi everyone, thanks Euan. I suppose my question would be, do you look at how far into future-proofing kit would need to be? And if so, how long into the future are you looking before that sort of comes outdated?
Definitely. It depends. Most sites should have a business plan set up, whether that's 3-year, 5-year. A lot of people always talk about you should know your exit or what you want to do by the end of 5 years, say. So you should have a bit of that in place. I'd say a minimum you want to be is looking at 12 months ahead. So we try and keep an eye on things like the States, what's going on in Europe, is things training changing. So keeping yourself 12 months ahead, and I think, like I say, that sort of 80-85%, if you're not full capacity, It gives you much more room to pivot and move and still account for that in your business plan. It's not about changing way off track, because again, once you know your market and who you're targeting, you shouldn't jump completely away from that. But it allows you a bit of wiggle room to then be moving with the times, moving with training, and let's say making that slight pivot if it's needed.
Thanks for the presentation. I'm just really interested in where new ideas for kit comes from. Do you talk to consumers? Do you talk to non-users? How do you work out what the next trend is for kit?
I think there's multiple avenues, and working with Rob is actually one of them. So something we've committed to is working on at least one brand new piece of equipment within the independent gyms group. So we will put that out there and ask what people want to see, what people think could be done better, and we'll take that feedback on and we'll manufacture that and refine that. A lot of it, similar to what I was saying, is we look across the broad scale of the market, what's happening in the States, what's happening across Europe, and looking at different training patterns, as well as there is some piece of equipment. Sometimes you're not always reinventing the wheel. There's some piece of equipment that have been made, but we can definitely make that better. Biomechanically, aesthetically, every part of it can we make that better. And we keep at the forefront of that. And it's, as training's adapt and changed, probably again every 3 years or so, we're having to move with that and try and keep one step ahead of that. Because to some essence now, as much as we are a strength company and a lot of us is machine-based, a lot more has become movement-based. So we've had to adapt our offering to make sure that we stay the forefront of that. But yeah, so we take the feedback from Rob's group, we have a look around, we listen to our facilities. We've got some, what we classed as powered by Primal facilities, so key facilities for us that we'll put in demo piece of equipment, take all the feedback from them, and then we'll take the next prototype and let's go again and remake it and stuff. So we've got about 5 or 6 around the UK that get access to those pieces of equipment that we think would be great in the market, take the feedback, and then hopefully it turns into at least 1, if not 2 pieces of kit that we can manufacture from there.
Hey Ian, thanks for that. Really, really interesting and nice to see those key points down there. You've designed and built your perfect gym. How are you guys suggesting that success is measured? Obviously, you've talked about feedback critical. Are there any other key points that the operator should be looking at in terms of measuring that success?
I think initially it's got to be your membership sales, what you've got, how you're retaining them on a very short basis. We would always try and, any facility we do, no matter kind of size or spend, we'll try and take them through the process of pre-sales. We'll work with them on video walkthroughs and stuff, so we'll encourage that, so as they open the doors, they're not just hoping for 100 people to appear. So I think measuring that based on what your pre-sales looks like, what you're looking at after sort of your 3 months. We know that most people in the room will probably tell you opening a gym, you're not going to be earning hundreds of thousands of pounds within probably year 1. So setting those measures and markers from an actual sales point of view in the business and how that looks, and accounting for that. A lot of people we've spoke to either took the wrong investment and stuff at the start. So being aware of that and knowing where you sit within your business plan is critical. I think also, when I touched upon it there, is feedback. I think when we say we fit with gyms to 80%, it's not us trying to say that we're doing something amazing. It gives you the opportunity to go and speak to your members and actually understand, especially those, most people will class them as founding members, especially those people that come on board with you early. If you're a new facility, you're an unknown, potentially a new brand that's coming on, you need to be aware of what the memberships are saying, what the market's saying about you within your local area, and taking all that feedback on. So then if it is a new piece of kit, or it might be better showers or different changing rooms or something else that they want in, I think you need to be open to that feedback all the time. So yeah, I would definitely say the measures for feedback, and keep aligning it back to your business plan. Where are you within that? Are you 3 months in and you're running behind, or are you 3 months in, you're shooting way far ahead? I think you need to be aware more than ever now that data is key, and we're now, for a long time, I think gyms, maybe speaking out of turn, weren't run as a business. They were looked upon as a bit of a lifestyle. I run a gym, this is fantastic. What's your conversion rate look like? What's your attrition? What's your retention? I think you need to be so aware of all these numbers to make sure that you will last past that 12-month point.
Thanks, Euan. So a lot of clubs are obviously talking about like engagement and retention and referral kind of rates. And so are there trends in training, solo, personal training, group exercise that you guys are looking at developing through kind of equipment to help clubs do that?
In terms of the engagement part?
Yeah, so just trends coming through in terms of like what clubs can do to improve that aspect of their kind of business.
Yeah, I think group training, as we all know within here, or small group training as well, particularly, is taken off massively. We've designed different elements of that training, PT pods, the rack we've got in the systems, a rack with inbuilt cable systems with storage and things that allows you to offer that group offering within a smaller space and keeping them engaged. I think the other part, like almost a two-side question there. There's engagement as in keeping them engaged during training, and I think small group does that really well, and I think having these setups and keeping people within 3 to 4 within a close space and they're training together will keep them engaged there. I think there's an engagement out with that of, I know there's a number of companies in here like tech-based. We know what MyZone do, Braun, it's an up-and-coming app. I think that keeps them then engaged within, if they're not in the small group and potentially on a gym floor, and how you keep your membership engaged in that you're investing in other parts of the business. So I think it's a bit of a two-level to that. But yeah, we're designing anything that's within that small group is kind of where we say we would specialise, and we continue to innovate and move it forward. We're looking at technology sides that interlink with Primal Kit, QR codes, training elements, all different things that make that kind of all-inclusive offering, if you like, as well.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, really good presentation. Cheers for that. You've talked a lot about where Primal's come from. Like, where do you see you guys heading over the next sort of 5-10 years? Like you keep referring to our business plans. Let's hear a little bit more about yours.
I don't know how many people will know, we sold half the business last year to private equity. That have got a real big growth plan for us and where we want to go. We run two elements of the business, is kind of our e-commerce side and our website. Then we've got our commercial side, which is what we would class our strength and our bread and butter. What that's given us now is a chance to really go aggressive to the market. More stock, more equipment, new equipment coming through. We're also in a number of discussions for acquisitions for moving our manufacture to the UK, which again gives us another element that we can move quicker, we can custom make quicker, and it puts us in a much stronger place within the market as well. So I'd say probably within the next 3 years, massive growth plans throughout the UK, but also Europe. We've secured a lot of trade partners within Europe and further afield. That'll give us a chance to really take the market by storm and not just limit ourselves to the UK.
What is your unique selling point as Primal? What sets you apart?
I think there's, again, a couple of elements to that, albeit the presentation went very quick. I think how we design facilities is one of the reasons we win so much business. Not just on not filling it full of kit, but how we look at a space, we see it different, and we offer that full solution to people. To the point when Chris and Thea opened their newest extension at the Empowered Fit and World, we done their full P&L with them, and we done everything through it. So we'll commit to that business and give you as much support on it as we can. So I think that's a big element, and it's coming from, as Rachel touched on, I've ran clubs in Australia, the UK, across the board. Stephen, our CEO, still owns his own facility and has done this for like 25 years. So we'll give that support to most facilities. As long as they're on board with us, we'll be on board with them. I think from a kit standpoint, we are very innovative and we move very quick with the times. So things we can have, that half rack with dual pulleys inbuilt with the system, something very similar to that. We had a conversation with actually someone who's here in the room, and I had CAD drawings and a prototype made within 2 weeks. So we sit so fast ahead of the market that normally within your bigger companies per se, you probably couldn't move that quick in terms of design and making something new, whereas we will, and that's what we specialise in, and giving someone something new. If we think it's an idea we can run with and it'll sit within the market really well, we're willing to, again, we'll make that, we'll have a look at it and see what we can do. So I think we're super innovative on that. And our strength range, I think, again, everyone will have different opinions within our kind of plate-loaded range and certain things that we do. Biomechanically, we work really hard to try and, yes, it looks aesthetically good, but we want it to biomechanically be better than anyone else or as close to anyone else within the industry. And we work closely with a guy called Gavin Laird, so GLS he's called, but Gavin Laird, he's biomechanics specialist and has been for like 20 years and competed, and Gav does a lot of our testing, lever lengths and everything that we do. So I think there's probably 3 answers I've given you within that, but our design, our kit and how innovative we are to sit ahead of the market, certainly within the UK, I think sets us apart from most. Thank you guys.